Hello, how's it going? Welcome to this special Sunday morning additions to the collection. This is the April edition. I do normally do it at the end of the month, but I feel like I've acquired a little bit, and some I have shown in previous videos, but I thought let's get it moving and let's do additions to the collection a little bit early. So if I do get some more stuff, which I think I may have coming, I will do a part 2 at the end of the month. This may be a new regular thing where I do kind of additions to the collection like halfway through the month and then do like a part 2 follow-up. So I was moving the camera about a little bit there. Yeah, just been getting the movies together, what I've picked up. Like I said, some I have shown in previous videos, like latest pickup videos, because I do a few of those sparingly. But yeah, quite some cool like spooky stuff, some great horror. Predominantly horror, I think most of it is, as usual. What do you expect from me? You know what to expect. But one in particular that I'm going to talk about really impressed me, and it was an upgrade from Blu-ray. I had the Scream Factory Blu-ray from about 3-4 years ago. I think it came out maybe about 4 years ago, and I've upgraded it, and I was very impressed with the new edition. Well, the latest edition. It's been out a little while now, come out earlier this year, but yeah, I'll get to that a little bit later on. You might, if you watch the channel regularly, be able to guess what film it is, but I was very impressed with the rewatch. The film grew on me a bit more. I did like the film when I first viewed it on the previous Blu-ray, but this 4K really did enhance and level up the film for me somewhat. So without further ado, let's get going, and I can ramble on a bit at the end. So nice and chill, just showing what I picked up, additions to the collection. You guys who watch regularly know what the score is with this. We're just going to talk about them. A lot of them are blind buys as well. Stuff, well, I say blind buy in the fact of I've not seen them. It's definitely things that are up my street or alley. So yeah, let's start with this one. So I thought I'd get a couple of things off Film Treasures because they had a couple of things at quite good prices. Is it Film? Yeah, Film Treasures, the UK seller that do imports. This is actually an import. This video will be mixed up of imports and you know, UK releases. I do get a few imports still, not too many, not as much as I used to, but I do pick them up. So I picked up this one. It's from TerrorVision. I've been picking up quite a bit of their stuff lately, and I must say they're quite the label. They do some interesting more niche films that you've probably never heard of, or more obscure stuff that's kind of been lost over the years. But I picked up this one. I think it's a fairly recent film. I'll check the details in a sec. TerrorVision picked up a Welcome to Hell. I was very intrigued by the cover. The fact, I think the majority of it, from what I read, is actually set in a spooky woods. So again, right up my street. I actually personally love like going and like walking in the woods like at night, especially with like my brother. Sometimes when he's in the mood, we'll go for like a night walk in the woods up the road. It's about a 20-minute drive from where I live, but it's quite cool, and it gives you like a sense of peace, and you can kind of reconnect with nature a little bit. It's also very nice in the day too, especially with the sun shining and whatnot, but there's hardly anybody around at night, and you can kind of just feel and embrace the sort of like secluded kind of peaceful ambience. But anyway, Welcome to Hell comes with a nice slip like that. On the back it says a film by Gemina Monteoliva, I think it's, no, Monteoliva. That's it. A film by Gemina Monteoliva. I know that was quite silly and difficult for me to say, but you know, how'd it go? So you take the slip off. Looks like a lovely edition. And you have more artwork like that. Welcome to Hell. Quite a few special features with it being a TerrorVision release. It's from 2021. Was the initial release of the film. This is a Region A, as you can see there. I haven't unsealed it yet, but it says Region A, so you will need a multi-region player for this one. In her search for independence, Lucia falls into the arms of black metal singer Christian, and an ill-fated relationship rooted in violence that reveals Christian's satanic onstage presentation is all too real. Desperate to escape the singer's clutches and protect her unborn child, Lucia moves to her grandmother's forest cabin, but finds her monstrous past will stop at nothing to find her. With Welcome to Hell, the director delivers a beautiful, brutal horror film with strong performances, stunning cinematography and jaw-dropping special effects, all underscored by pummeling black metal. So good heavy metal score, black metal. Terrorvision is proud to present Welcome to Hell in its worldwide disc debut with a bloody slew of special features. So you've got your special features there. So basically it's about a woman. She obviously falls in love with someone who's in a black metal band, and then she decides he's too satanic for her, and then goes and lives with her grandmother in the cabin in the woods, and then obviously scary things start happening. One thing in particular really intrigues me is the location, a cabin in the woods location. It also features like black metal and stuff. That's always pretty interesting and cool. And it says it's got jaw-dropping special effects. So yeah, can't go wrong. Hopefully they'll be practical. I assume they will be. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a few like little images of the film. I haven't unsealed it yet. I will do soon. I assume that's the guy from the metal band. Another good black metal film is actually Lords of Chaos, about the Norwegian, is it death metal? Where they, where they start burning churches, and it's rather a crazy film, that one. Look, I think it's, yeah, Lords of Chaos. Arrow have released it. I did enjoy it. That one was good, about death metal. So that's Welcome to Hell. On to the next pickup, and we have a documentary. Now, I do like picking up some horror documentaries. They're a good watch. I know a lot of them do come with limited editions. You'll get like a documentary, feature-length documentary on the said film with the limited edition, but they also do like, singular releases with exclusive documentaries that are not on editions of the film. And this is a fairly new one, and it is about Leatherface actor Gunnar Hansen, isn't it? I think he's passed away now, hasn't he? And that is Dinner with Leatherface. Cool artwork. The artwork looks brilliant. Love that, with all the different renditions of Leatherface and characters he's played in movies on the front. Yeah, and it's basically a documentary about him, and like his with different people giving interviews and talking about him. I'll read a bit of the back. Dinner with Leatherface is a documentary about Gunnar Hansen, the actor who portrayed Leatherface in TCM 1974. Friends, colleagues, filmmakers and fellow actors share personal stories and discuss between the maniacal, chainsaw-wielding character he played on screen and the very intelligent, creative, soft-spoken man he actually was in real life. So I don't really know that much about Gunnar Hansen. I thought he was great as Leatherface in TCM. So looking forward to this. It'll obviously be a good, give you some insight on him, in his performance. Obviously, I don't know him from that many movies. Obviously, he's been in a few, probably doing small parts and things, or independent stuff, but he was brilliant as Leatherface. His portrayal was just menacing and raw, and because that film is rather raw. It's the 1974 TCM is a very raw movie. But looking forward to Dinner with Leatherface. Yeah, not watched it yet. One I have watched, and I've been meaning to pick this up for a while. I've heard a few say it's a good adaptation of the story. I love the 1970s one with Donald Sutherland in, and that is this is Body Snatchers, The Invasion Continues, directed by Abel Ferrara, who directed The Driller Killer, King of New York, and what's the latest film that I watched that had The Addiction. So he's done some good movies, pretty gritty director, tells an interesting story, and this is Body Snatchers. It is more of a kind of follow-up to the original story. They don't go over the whole story of the original story that the 70s one does. I've not actually seen the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I've seen the 70s one with Donald Sutherland and Jeff Goldblum in, and the guy from Star Trek, I forget his name now. But this is a follow-up from 1990, so it's a 90s one. 1993, sorry, it's actually from 1993. Abel Ferrara had some good special effects in it. That was very strong, with it being, not as old perhaps as the other adaptations. The special effects were pretty strong in this one. Tells a bit of a different story, but more of the same. You got the kind of people, with the aliens in them, the body snatchers inside them, and you've got the humans who have survived this kind of invasion, who are trying to escape. You've got all the body snatchers trying to basically turn them into one of them, one of us. It's not freaks, but you know what I mean. They're trying to make them one of them. And also I noticed Ollie Ermey's in it, who I do enjoy. He's a good actor, and he plays a military guy in this. Of course he does. Who else does Ollie Ermey? He either plays a sheriff like he does Sheriff Hoyt in TCM to great success. He's a great actor, I think. Great, sort of does some great characters, but he's always going to play some sort of military guy or a cop. It's just Ollie Ermey. That's what he did. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I give it 3 out of 5, 3 stars. It's solid. It's not like as good as the 70s one, should I say. I haven't seen the original. It's not as good as the 70s one, but it's solid. It tells a bit of a different story involving the body snatchers. Acting was kind of good and on par. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Body snatchers. Yeah, good one, that. Random pickup because it's a Lucio Fulci film. Picked up Beatrice Cenci, some sort of weird kind of movie. I'll read a little bit. Stars Thomas Milan. A brutal retelling of the Cenci family. There must be a real life family it's based on. The film depicts the horrific events that led to the demise of one of Italy's most prestigious families. Through 2 timelines, we establish how and why this much loved family was sent to the guillotine in 1599. Based on the tragic true story, Beatrice Cenci, aka The Conspiracy of Torture, shook Italy to its very core upon release in 1969, thanks to its strong condemnation of the Catholic Church, and set Lucio Fulci on a collision course with the graphic violence that will become synonymous with his most popular works. Considered by Fulci himself to be his finest cinematic work, 88 films are proud to unveil the prized possession within a legendary career. Prepare to witness the birth of the godfather of gore, finally uncut, so it is uncut, uncensored, and unleashed for the very first time in the UK. So this was its debut release. It's actually a Blu-ray from 2019, so a 6-year-old Blu-ray, but I picked it up. It's one that's escaped me. I saw the cover before when I've been browsing and shopping around, but I kind of thought, you know what, I want to actually basically kind of have most of Lucio Fulci's film as a big fan. I love his gore style as well. He truly is the godfather of gore. I mean, they don't say that for nothing. Yeah, but this looks like really a bit more like on an epic scale, perhaps, if it's telling the story of this old family from like the 1500s. I mean, should be quite interesting. And apparently, like it says on the back, on the synopsis on the back, Fulci considers it his best sort of like big cinematic film he's made. So very interested in that. That'll be going on soon. I'll just show a few that I've actually already shown. So I'm just going to breeze through these because I did do a couple of little pickups videos, and I've already shown these. The indicator release of no, not Mannequin, Harley Quinn. Why am I calling it Mannequin? There is actually a film called Mannequin. It's rather silly. Quite good though, from what I can remember. I might have to try and sort that out. Anyway, this is Harley Quinn, not to be confused with the DC character. Yeah, I don't know too much about it. It's a limited edition. Not sure what it's limited to because it tells you on the J card, which I've put to one side. But anyway, this is a 4K edition. It's 96 minutes. It's Ozploitation from Australia, of course. 1980, English language, colour, brand new 4K restoration. Absolutely stacked. Looking forward to it. I keep hearing good things when I've shown it on the previous video. You know, a couple of people in the comments section did say you will like Harley Quinn. Another one, Pinocchio 964. This looks like a wacky sort of adventure about a crazed sort of weird sex mutant thing, creature, monster. I don't know. Looks like quite the weird odd little curiosity, that one. So I'll be getting around to that soon. Also picked up the brilliant The Substance, which I'm going to rewatch at some point. I didn't quite go for the 4K because I'm quite aware that in a year or two, or maybe even later this year, in perhaps the autumn or winter or the year after or whenever, a boutique label, perhaps we'll just say Second Sight, probably, possibly, potentially, will release The Substance in a big limited edition on 4K with all the whistles and bells, and I would love this film to have that treatment, and I will be getting it. But I picked up the Mubi edition, or Mubi, however you pronounce that. I watched the film last year on the Mubi streaming service, or Mubi, however you pronounce it. I'm not too sure. I've never heard that word spoken before, so I don't know. But I did really like it. I thought it was the best film of last year. It was definitely hands down the best horror film from last year. Love the whole subject matter. They explore body horror. It tells a kind of relatable tale of like when you kind of feel worthless in life, or your best days are behind you and you want to kind of rekindle some of that youth that you used to have and energy. And that's a very relatable story, and that's what The Substance delivers, as well as some great body horror and gore. good performances, just the best film from last year. I loved it. I thought it's fantastic. This is the Blu-ray edition like that. Very nice edition. Comes in a Scannovo case underneath the slip. Nosferatu, picked this one up. Very good, very atmospheric, good pathos, pretty solid acting. Even got Willem Dafoe in there. He started to become a regular in Robert Eggers' films. But yeah, great, loved it. Great adaptation. It doesn't quite hit as hard to me, or it isn't quite as impactful as the original black and white classic. That the imagery in that film is very nightmarish, especially the look of Nosferatu. He did look cool in this remake, but I find the black and white one just to be, it's such a staple of classic black and white silent cinema, and it's just legendary. This was brilliant, but that is just a legendary film. It doesn't quite hit like that one. This is a lot longer, over 2 hours. The original's within 90 minutes it finishes. It's like a 90-minute movie, 80 plus, 85 plus minutes. That one is shorter but sweeter, and I think the original just has a certain look to it. You've got like Max Schreck as the Count Orlok character, and he just really looked the part. But Bill Skarsgård's a very good character actor and does a fine job in this too, I thought. Yeah, good stuff. Another pickup. I haven't shown this one, I don't think, from Unearthed Films. It is an import, so it's Region A, American release. One I've been wanting to see for a while to add to my spooky, scary clown collection, and that is 100 Tears. I'd heard a little bit about it, heard it was quite a brutal one, quite gory. This was all right. I didn't absolutely love it, and I wasn't overly thrilled by it, but I thought it was a decent little low-budget kind of indie horror movie. It was solid enough. It entertained me for the duration, which is 95 minutes. The clown guy's pretty cool. He's like obviously a weird clown who's had you know, so a bit of misfortune and was kind of like ostracized from the circus and crew he used to travel with. He now has a vendetta and a bone to pick, and he's out for revenge. He's a killer. He brutally kills people. This film has some brutal scenes in it. It's very gory. It's very filled with splatter effects. They like getting the intestines out very often in this movie. A lot of gore involving intestines, but it did look quite good. I must say the gore looked realistic enough. It was really good and quite like gnarly and nasty as well. Yeah, I did enjoy it. The main characters are pretty cool too, like the protagonists. They're okay, they're serviceable. They're kind of like reporters trying to uncover who this killer is. There's a look at the back. He carries like a huge like nasty kind of meat cleaver around. He also has a spade which he uses to remove people's heads. Yeah, good stuff. I did like 100 Tears. It has a couple of little twisty bits in it as well, twists. You know, it was all right. Another pickup, which is a complete blind buy on Mondo Macabre, or Macabre. The Fox with the Velvet Tail. Now that, you know by that title, that is a giallo. I like a giallo. This looks good. I'm sure it'll be a good kind of sleazy giallo. The Fox with the Velvet Tail. What a title. The giallos really do come up with some brilliant titles. You got like the Case of the Scorpion's Tail, this one like The Fox with the Velvet Tail, and just cool titles for some giallos. They even do cool like simple titles, like Argento did like Deep Red, but he also did The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, which is a more kind of like elaborate title. But yeah, this one looks good. There's a little look on the back. Yeah, looks fun. Right, so I'll just show these quickly because I did a video at the beginning of the week. Picked up Incubus, the new release from 88 Films on the Slasher Classics collection. Wacko, which surprisingly I did kind of enjoy. I did show this in an unboxing, but I didn't talk about it. Basically, the kind of, if you want to kind of, if you want me to kind of describe Wacko, and I'll explain my explanation too. If I was just to describe it in a sentence, I would say, imagine the humour of the comedy classic Airplane sort of woven into a slasher film, because it is meant to be a slasher, and it's even on the 88 Slasher Classics line, but it's just wacky, it's silly. People do get killed in it. There is a murderer, but you see no blood, no gore. The deaths are very mild. I'm surprised it's even a 15. It was more of a 12. There's some hilarious stuff in here. There's some dodgy old-fashioned humour that I personally found hilarious, but also you probably wouldn't get away with it so much these days. Like the scenes where the George Kennedy's character, he's climbing up the window and he's spying on his daughter. She's looking all good in like sexy lingerie and stuff, and he's like spying through the window, and she says, "Daddy, what are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, you know," he says, "Oh, nothing." He's got binoculars out and everything, like spying on his door, like. But this guy's like, "No, I'm just mowing the lawn," and then he falls off the ladder, and these scenes keep happening where he's climbing up the ladder to look at his daughter, you know, in her underwear and stuff. And then a few scenes later, he just turns up at the dinner table for breakfast, you know, just casually. They were like, "Hey, Daddy," you know, after these silly things happen. It's rather silly. It's a bit sleazy, but it's very funny. Yeah, it's just a fun time. Basically, the kind of humour of like Airplane, stuff like that. Just kind of like a bit of physical comedy, you know, a few funny lines. Nothing particularly overly funny or even amazing as a film, but it's a fun time, and I'm glad I picked that one up. 4K of Hardware. Good film, solid. I did talk about that one. So now we just have 2 more to go. So I decided to upgrade Village of the Damned. I do like the Scream Factory 4Ks. I wish they did the packaging a bit better and took a bit more pride in their packaging. But, you know, it's solid enough. You get the Amaray case and a nice slip. I don't mind this one. It's not one of Carpenter's best, but I felt like upgrading it because I know how good the Scream Factory 4K transfers are. Quick drink of water, and we will finish on probably, although I haven't watched all of the pickups, this is probably my favourite pickup. Okay, so you might have got, if you've watched the channel or follow it, I did put this on a post the other day, and I've even done a quick fire review for my website, skincrawlers.co.uk. Anyway, I upgraded Graveyard Shift from my Scream Factory Blu-ray. This is a brilliant, underrated Stephen King adaptation. I think I don't know, is it a novella, a full novel, or a short story? I think Graveyard Shift may be a short story. Maybe one of you could tell me in the comments. I can always research it, but I forget. But anyway, it's a Stephen King adaptation, and it's very underrated. I had seen this before. I did enjoy it. I'm going to talk a little bit about this because I did really enjoy it. 4K looked good, solid, retained its kind of natural look, but also looked nice and crisp as well, and polished, like sort of the kind of, you know, what the criteria you'd expect for a good 4K UHD transfer. The film itself, highly interesting, basically tells the story of an old mill that is infested with rats. The boss, Hansen, played by Andrew Divoff, who plays the Wishmaster in the film Wishmaster. He plays the horrible, like, conniving, kind of arrogant boss, who's basically recruiting all these local townspeople who need the work, obviously, for money and their wages. And they're being given horrible jobs within the mill. He's trying to get the mill back up and functioning properly, but deep down in the basement, it is infested with rats. There's lots of water. They uncover a trap door, which leads to underground tunnels, you know, a whole, like, area of, like, these underground passageways and stuff. And there is something down there lurking. Is it a huge mutated rat? Or is it something else? But yeah, a lot of good things in this film. The character Hansen, the boss, played by, is it Andrew Divoff? Yeah, that guy there, who plays Wishmaster. His acting is brilliant in this. Yes, he plays a dickhead. Yes, he's very arrogant, but he does a good job of being a villain. He's kind of like a despicable, like, despisable villain, not one you even want to root for. You're kind of like, yeah, this guy's very engaging as an actor and he's doing a fine job, but I also dislike him as well because he even starts attacking a woman in it, or gets close to punching her. But still, it's just a character in a film. But yeah, he does a fine job. He's a great villain in this. He's really, like, you know, he's full of tricks and dastardly and nasty and just a horrible man, but very, very fun to watch. It also stars Brad Dourif, who did the voice of Chucky, of course, in Child's Play. I'm sure all you horror fans and that know who he is. He plays the bug-eyed exterminator and does a fantastic job. For me, he didn't quite get enough screen time, but he does do a stand-up job as the exterminator, and he even has his little dog with him, his cute terrier, which is a rat catcher. It's a rat-catching dog breed. And yeah, he's just bug-eyed and crazy, and he kind of has a good interaction with Andrew Divoff's Hansen character when they're both plotting what they're going to do or handle a situation. They're both in Hansen's office, and Brad Dourif, just as the exterminator, is being kind of like having his strings pulled by Andrew Divoff. He kind of says, no, I'm going. Andrew Divoff uses some of the leverage he has on the Exterminator to basically make him stay and finish the job. If you watch the film, you'll know what I mean. But yeah, some great acting in here, great Stephen King adaptation, highly underrated. This 4K is brilliant. I was very on the fence about buying this 4K, but I pulled the trigger and I'm glad I did. I don't upgrade everything. I'm very happy with a lot of the movies I have remaining on Blu-ray in my collection. I only upgrade certain things that I'm very curious about or that are complete just favourites of mine that I need to upgrade because I just do. And this one I'm very happy with. One of the happiest, it's the happiest I've been with an upgrade for a while, just because they normally do all look good like in the 4K format. It's just this film is underrated and really deserves this treatment, and it's a beautiful edition as well. It's got a nice thick slipcover with that cool artwork on. There's the back. It comes with a Blu-ray which is region A, but the 4K disc with the feature on is actually region 3, with it being a 4K. That is normally universally the case, so you'll be okay there. And then you have that there like that. There's my pickups, guys. That's additions to the collection for April. I think there'll be a part 2, so in the next couple of weeks, stay tuned, because there probably will be an additions to the collection for April part 2. I just want to start doing it this way so I can kind of do it. Then if there's a little bit more, maybe we can do a part 2. We will see. Yeah. It's Sunday as well. I'm going to get some movies watched. I started watching a recommendation last night of a found footage movie that started off very interesting and turned out to be completely wacky and out there. That film is called Be My Cat, and I was highly enjoying it. The problem is I was very tired yesterday and I fell asleep halfway through. So later on today I'll be watching the remaining half of Be My Cat. But this movie is crazy. I'm going to talk about it on a later video. I think it's from 2018, it said. I got it on Apple, downloaded it, paid for it, bought it at a good price, about $4.99 it cost me because I couldn't find a physical release. But the guy who's making the film, he's a Romanian guy. The film's in English though, but he's very quirky, he's very wacky, and it keeps getting more sinister as things come into fruition and the film progresses. He starts off quite just like a bit of a bumbling idiot. Later on, his intentions are made very clear and we see him for the sinister kind of whack job he is. But yeah, I'll talk about Be My Cat in a later video, on a watches video or something. Hey, what did you guys think of the new skin crawlers like logo and stuff? I was doing a bit of some work yesterday with a bit of help from AI, and I managed to generate some cool images and stuff. I thought I would kind of like enhance the look of the devil guy for the logo. I kind of wanted it enhanced. This has been my aim for a while. I was actually going to pay for and hire an artist to take my simple devil guy design, the little purple logo, and kind of give it a bit more like lifelike presence to it and beef it up a bit. But I managed to do that with AI, and I think it looks brilliant. And it did save me quite a lot of money. But I will possibly, if the channel ever does a lot better in the future, I will consider getting artists, like hiring a freelance artist to maybe do some logo artwork or something. I'm all for that. I don't want AI to take over the world and take people's jobs and stuff, but it's a very handy tool. And I will be talking about my experience with AI and working with it a little bit in a later video, so do stay tuned for that if you're interested, of course. But I would like to share my thoughts on artificial intelligence a little bit, but I'm just going to work with it a little bit more and use it a bit more, and then I will do a video perhaps in a couple of months where I share my experience. I know it's not horror themed or physical media themed, but it could be very interesting. I may even put it on the Skin Crawlers Extra channel, just as an extra thing. We'll see. Anyway, have a fantastic remainder to the weekend. Happy Sunday. Like, comment, subscribe if you don't mind. If you like pickup videos, Blu-ray, 4K, DVD, whatever, physical media in general, this channel is all about that, and collectibles too. Got a couple of new bits there. I picked up a Scream Greats Trick or Treat Studios Fatso figure, and Slim over there where my thumb's pointing, but I got Fatso and I've kind of put them like that and they look kind of cool. But I'll show them. I'll show that when I'm tweaking the movie room a little bit by bit. I'm not going all in like crazy because I do like its aesthetic and how it looks at present. But over the next sort of year, you will see some changes in here, and I will show them and document them on a video for anybody who's interested. Anyway, have a great remainder to Sunday, and I'll see you on the next Skin Crawlers video. So yeah, keep watching loads of movies, especially horror. Yeah, and keep it creeper. Ugh. That was a bit of a cheesy tagline, wasn't it? I was trying to think, shall I do a little tagline for the end, like keep it creepy? Anyway, keep it creepy and have a great Sunday. I'll see you on the next video.